Right now at 5, authorities in Joplin seek the public's assistance in identifying a man who vandalized a store.
Our temperature is much better today, even a few scattered thunderstorms out there. We'll tell you about additional storm chances and how the rest of the week is looking coming up.
Also, authorities in Delaware County seek assistance from the public in identifying a person who stole gas from a school district.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. There's something missing here. There are so many problems with being short, and no matter who I'm next to.
I was like, what's wrong?
Right, I mean, from your perspective, there's technically nothing wrong. This is actually pretty normal, but, you know, it's Monday morning, and I require special boxes, and my special box is in here, so we'll get that in place, and before we do that, let's take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, because I love this. I love it so much. Here we got some showers and thunderstorms across parts of Oklahoma. These have been going on for a while. There's even been, if you watch quick enough, a few different severe thunderstorm mornings along this line. All of this activity, as you can see, is pushing off to the south and east. We're getting a few showers, even a few thunderstorms in parts of our area, but these will not last forever. They'll be out of here in the next 3 hours or so. And then for the rest of our day, we're looking at a pretty decent Monday. We're looking at mostly clear skies, temperatures maybe mid-80s out there. We're looking great, even into the overnight hours, a few more clouds, but not too bad. Then we go into tomorrow morning around, say 6 a.m. or so. We'll start to see a few isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms, and that'll kind of be the case throughout our Tuesday. We'll have pauses here and there. Not everybody will get rain, but for our Tuesday, we do have the chance of maybe a strong or low-grade severe thunderstorm with some of the isolated activity we see. Then we go into our Wednesday. We have 2 possible rounds of thunderstorms. Early in the morning, we'll have some remnant thunderstorms rolling through the area, and these could be strong, possibly severe, with some small hail and damaging winds being the primary concern. And then as we head into the afternoon, depending on what impact those storms have on the atmosphere in the morning, we could see additional strong to severe thunderstorm development Wednesday. So for Tuesday, we've got a low end risk for some stronger storms, and Wednesday we still have an elevated risk, so we'll keep an eye on all of that for you. We'll have another complete look at your forecast and how the rest of this week is shaping up here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, Branson police have started a death investigation. Detectives found 2 people dead inside an apartment. The property manager says she was called by a relative of one of the residents to do a welfare check. Once she opened the door, she says she saw 2 people dead and called the police. Authorities say that at this time there's no foul play suspected, but that could change after the autopsy, which is scheduled for Monday. This is still an open investigation. Joplin police are searching for a man seen vandalizing a store. It happened around 2:30 yesterday morning. Surveillance photos show the man seen here throwing a brick through the window of Mint Cove Clothing on Main Street. The owner of Mint Cove says the Creative Learning Alliance was also vandalized. If you can't identify this man, you are asked to contact Joplin Police. And 2 people were injured after a crash near Seneca, Missouri this weekend. It happened just after 11 p.m. Saturday night at the intersection of State Highway U and State Line Road. Authorities say a car failed to yield to an SUV, T-boned it, and caused it to overturn. 2 people in the SUV were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No one in the car was hurt. And the Delaware County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in identifying a person seen stealing gas from the Cleora School District. These are surveillance images of the thief. Authorities say the person is thought to be a male. They can be seen walking around school property, stealing gas from district-owned vehicles. If you have any information about the theft, you are asked to contact the Delaware County Sheriff's Office. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, it was Pittsburgh versus Webb City in Little League Baseball. We'll have who is going on to face Nebraska with Chris Warner in sports. Plus, the FDA approves of a new pill that's aimed at treating postpartum depression. And it may be a cooler start of your work week, but we'll take a closer look at what to expect for the rest of the week with Chris Warner and weather. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
On Sunday morning, local Little League baseball teams took to the field in Indianapolis for the Midwest Regionals. Both Pittsburgh and Webb City have already lost a game, and they meet each other in the elimination bracket. So now that means only one team can win, and the other goes home. This game went back and forth all morning, but it was Pittsburgh who prevailed at the end to beat Webb City by a final score of 8-5. So with that loss, that means that Webb City is no longer representing Team Missouri, has been eliminated from the Little League Midwest Regionals Tournament. So congratulations to Webb City on the great season they had. Now meanwhile, Pittsburgh will move on to the next round and face Nebraska. Once again, it's a win or go home situation, just like the last game. The winner will go on to play the winner of Wisconsin or Iowa. Pittsburgh's game against Nebraska is scheduled for this morning at 9 a.m. Central. And you can find it on ESPN+. So if you're someone who likes to sleep in, make sure you set those alarms. Well, still to come, it's not a human in a bear. We have talked about why can people not sort this one out? It is not a human in a bear suit. We're going to take another look at the sun bear and learn more about the dangers of this species that the bear faces. Plus, we have another check of your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:11 now on this Monday morning across the area. We have a few stray showers in parts of southeast Kansas and some scattered thunderstorms here across parts of northeastern Oklahoma. We have some thunderstorm activity now getting into southern Delaware County. All of this, some of this has been severe. All of this pushing off to the southeast. So unfortunately, it's going to miss the majority of the area. But worry not, we have more rain chances on the way over the next couple of days. As we head through our Monday's looking great. And I know it's hard to use great and Monday in the same sentence, but it's looking like a beautiful day. Now, as we go into Tuesday, by about 6 a.m., we're going to start to see a few scattered thunderstorms, and we'll have isolated to widely scattered thunderstorms throughout our Tuesday. Not everybody will get rain, and as you can see, it will be fairly isolated and limited, but the storms that we do see tomorrow could be strong, possibly low-grade severe, we're talking maybe some gusty winds out there. Then we go into Wednesday morning, and we start to see some thunderstorm chances. As you can see, the future track, if you recall from earlier, has updated since this morning. This is what we're keeping an eye on for Wednesday in terms of a severe threat. We could have some lingering thunderstorms Wednesday morning. We have to see how they play out because that will have an impact on the severe threat later in the day. Here's some of those at 7 a.m. as well. If the thunderstorms Wednesday morning clear out in an orderly fashion and quick enough, we do have a threat for severe weather with damaging winds being the primary threats. We have an elevated risk on Wednesday. We've been watching Wednesday for a few days, and as we get closer, we'll continue to track it. And then again, tomorrow we have that low end risk across the area as well. And as you can see, the chances, as I mentioned, are very isolated to scattered. So the chances are low, but a strong storm or two tomorrow is possible. Right now, however, we're not bad. Look at this, 66 in Joplin. And if you recall last week, we were sitting in the 80s at this time of the morning. Temperatures around the region, it almost looks like a fall map out here. We got 63 Iola, 68 Chanute, 67 Chatopa, Miami, 66 Neosho, Carthage, and 68 in Lamar. As we get our morning started, again for northeast Oklahoma, primarily a few scattered thunderstorms still possible. Otherwise, we'll start clearing out and into the mid 70s by late morning and below average temperatures today. We're looking at highs low to mid 80s, mostly clear skies. A great afternoon. If there's something you need to catch up on, if they've been putting off mowing the yard, today's the day probably to do that. We go into the evening. Clear skies, 70s, great weather out there. We're looking at upper 60s overnight with partly cloudy skies. Now we will start to warm back up to seasonable levels, not triple digits, but seasonable levels with the low to mid 90s out there. And we got our thunderstorm chances Tuesday, Wednesday, and we have a few more scattered storm chances as we head into the weekend. That's a check of your forecast. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, it's a common and serious, potentially life-threatening condition, but there's now a new treatment for those in the U.S. experiencing postpartum depression. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has approved a pill to treat this illness. Mandy Gaither has more on the medication and how it may help.
For the first time ever, those struggling with severe postpartum depression may find relief in the form of a pill specifically aimed at this illness.
This medication would bring a lot of hope to alleviate suffering for women that struggle with this condition.
The drug makers say phase 3 trial results showed women with severe postpartum depression given zuranolone daily over the course of 2 weeks had significant improvements in depressive symptoms compared to those who were given a placebo. Researchers say women given the medication saw symptom relief in as early as 3 days, and the study says those improvements were still reported 28 and 45 days later.
So once you take the medication, a person recovers from depression, and then their risk of relapse diminishes significantly. A long course of treatment, a long course of symptom relief from a short course of treatment, which is very new and a novel thing in our field.
Postpartum depression can happen anytime within the first year after childbirth. Symptoms which can start during pregnancy include feeling sad, hopeless, or guilty, loss of energy, difficulty sleeping, and in severe cases, suicidal thoughts or attempts.
It's a little different from garden variety depression because it comes with a lot of anxiety and agitation.
Side effects reported from the trial included drowsiness and dizziness. Some also had headache, diarrhea, and nausea.
If you or someone you know is struggling with depression, help is available. You can reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988. And nearly half of adults in the U.S. are interested in using weight loss drugs. That's according to a new poll from health policy researchers from KFF. It found that 45% of the public would be open to weight loss prescriptions, including a newer class of drugs that includes Ozempic and Wegovy. Interest was particularly high among adults who had been told by a doctor or other healthcare provider that they were overweight in recent years, and among those who were trying to lose more than 20 pounds. However, only about 1 in 7 people said they would still be interested if the thought that they would gain the weight after stopping use. And the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that 2 people caught swine flu after visiting pig exhibits at agricultural fairs in Michigan. The CDC says each patient became ill with flu-like symptoms about 10 days after visiting the exhibits at 2 different fairs last month. The CDC also says neither patient had to be hospitalized and there was no person-to-person spread of the virus in either case. The agency is reminding people to avoid eating or drinking around pig exhibits at fairs and to avoid contact with animals that appear to be ill. You should also wash your hands after visiting such exhibits, and the CDC advises those who are immunocompromised to avoid pig exhibits completely. Former NFL quarterback Johnny Manziel said that he attempted suicide after his release from the Cleveland Browns in 2016. The revelation comes in his upcoming episode of the Netflix documentary, Untold. He said the gun malfunctioned when he pulled the trigger. The former Heisman Trophy winner said he began using OxyContin and cocaine every day following the 2015 season. The drug use led to his weight dropping from 215 in January to 175 pounds in September. In early 2016, a Texas grand jury indicted him on a misdemeanor assault charge against his former girlfriend. After being released by the Browns in March 2016, he said he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And cases of leprosy are surprisingly showing up in some parts of Florida, and now health officials are warning Americans should be alert when it comes to this incident, especially those living in the southeast. Jonathan Seri has the details.
Health officials are noticing a rise in cases of leprosy out of Florida. The condition, officially called Hansen's disease, is a rare bacterial infection that attacks the peripheral nerves and can cause swelling under the skin. Leprosy has been around since 600 BC, but is rarely found in the U.S.
But it can be missed if we don't think about it, and so that's something that our study shows.
In the last decade, cases of leprosy have more than doubled in the southeastern states, according to research published in the journal Emerging Infectious Diseases. In 2020, there were 159 cases reported in the U.S., about 80% of them in Florida.
Really appears to be this, interesting, intriguingly strong geographic, clustering or tendency for this really rare condition.
Health officials say initial symptoms can be as subtle as skin lesions and rashes, or can develop into pronounced symptoms and nerve damage if it is not treated.
Still relatively uncommon here. and even worldwide.
Not everyone is susceptible to leprosy, so an outbreak can go undetected for months. Scientists are still studying how the disease spreads, but most believe it's transmitted through prolonged contact with respiratory droplets, such as when an infected person coughs or sneezes. Armadillos famously carry the bacteria, and people may become infected through contact with the animals or their habitats.
We suspect that there's an environmental or zoonotic component that's making it really challenging to stamp out.
Fortunately, leprosy is now a curable disease, and experts say it's not highly contagious. That's a look at some of our top health stories today. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a pretty nice start to Monday. A few showers and storms in northeast Oklahoma. Those will clear out, and we've got a really decent Monday ahead of us with more much-needed rain chances in the forecast. We're going to look at all of that when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Right now at 5:30, put on your cosplay as a convention known as JomoCon comes into town.
We've got ourselves, for the most part, a pretty nice start to our Monday out there. We're looking at a great Monday and then some additional much-needed rain chances in the forecast. We'll look at that coming up.
Plus, we'd head over to Miami, Oklahoma to learn more about a dog show that took place over the weekend.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. The time now is 5:25 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. So we actually have a few scattered thunderstorms out there for at least some of us, but otherwise it's much nicer this morning. Do you need the air conditioning
No,
this
it was
morning?
lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can put the windows down
Very
and just
nice.
kind of enjoy, and it's still going to be pretty pleasant as we head through the week. But first, a quick look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. You can see in parts of southeast Kansas, we do have a few stray showers on the northern fringes of some more organized thunderstorm activity off into parts of Oklahoma. As you can see, there have been some assorted severe thunderstorm warnings through the morning, but all of this, the strongest for sure, staying out of our area. We did have some thunderstorms into parts of northeast Oklahoma, but those have cleared out, and this will continue to push off to the southeast as we go through the morning. So we're looking at a really great Monday. And now I know we need rain, and I have good news. We've got rain on the way. As we head in through the rest of our Monday, again, a very nice day, below normal temperatures out there as we go in the low to mid 80s. And then as we head into the overnight hours and early tomorrow morning, we'll start to see thunderstorm chances. Now, tomorrow's chances are relatively low. They're going to be isolated to widely scattered. However, the storms we do see throughout our Tuesday, some of those could be strong, potentially low-grade severe with some gusty winds as the primary hazard. And then we go into our Wednesday, and there's a couple of scenarios that we're keeping an eye on. One is we're going to have some thunderstorms ongoing Wednesday morning. Some of these could be strong, maybe low-grade severe. If they clear out fast enough and let the atmosphere recover, we do have an elevated risk for strong to severe thunderstorms on Wednesday as we head into the afternoon and evening hours, with the possibility of some damaging wind gusts being the primary concern. So that's something we'll keep an eye on. And then, as mentioned, we have that low end risk for some stronger storms tomorrow. We'll take another look at your forecast and how warm it's going to be as we head into the week here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, the Springfield Library System is using new rules for issuing minors library cards in order to follow Missouri's new rules from the Secretary of State's office. Until now, kids could sign up for the temporary cards without a parent present, but all of those temp cards have been deactivated. Now parents must come in with their child and sign up for the card in person, or parents must sign a permission slip before a child can receive a card. Kids in Miami got the chance to show off their skills as trainers as they competed in the Ottawa County Fair Dog Show. Competitors from ages 7 to 18 showed off their skills in the training of their pups in events like Showcase, Obedience, and Agility. 18-year-old Alexis and her poodle Mocha are breaking in their first year competing with each other.
It takes a lot of patience. It teaches you how to deal with different situations. Like if your dog is scared of a teeter-totter, then it's different than if they just don't listen.
Alexis has been competing for 7 years and hopes to continue working with animals as a career. And the Joplin Pop Culture Convention, or JomoCon, took place Saturday at the Spiva Center for the Arts. The convention is a great way for local fans of gaming, anime, and comics to come together. The event also welcomes local artists to show their talents and be a part of the fun.
I don't want to become gigantic. I mean, one of the reasons we did this is because not everyone can drive to Kansas City and pay $100 to go to the big ones, right? So we want to let it grow and become sustainable and stay unique with bringing in the local culture as well as the anime and gaming and all that stuff. Yeah, we just want to keep perfecting it and bringing stuff that will give people in this area a reason to come together and hang out.
The event also raised money through ticket sales for the Children's Center of Southwest Missouri. And the Mizra Shiners in Pittsburgh put together an event to help support their organization. For a $20 donation, guests were able to come in and participate in multiple mini games for a chance to win one of the over 100 prizes offered.
Ask any Mason or any Shriner. You got to become a Mason before you can be a Shriner. So any Shriner would be glad to help you get involved, get you started. All you got to do is ask one.
The Shriners organization is involved in many medical centers in the area and seeks to provide help to those in need. Competitors from around the 4 states and even some further away gathered at the Frisco Trail in Joplin to compete in the Eliminator Run. Competitors run 3 miles every 45 minutes until they are unable to continue. While many do it to either stay in shape or to help train themselves, some have a deeper reason for pushing their bodies to the limit.
I was active duty in the Army for 10.5 years, and I lost a lot of brothers and sisters. And we lost close friends, and I run because they can no longer run. And I run for those who came home not in one piece and not whole. And so I run for them.
Heather was able to have her daughter, who is current active duty military, be there as support during this race. We thank them both for their service. And the Miners Hall Museum brought in a guest speaker yesterday to talk about researching your home. The presentation talked about discovering the history of your home, your business, or even your farmland.
What I am doing is helping people learn how to do that actual research, which can be intimidating if you've never done it before. So we'll be talking about all of the resources that are available, a lot of which are available online. You don't even have to leave your house or get out of your pajamas. And then also about how to take that information and make it into a narrative.
If you'd like more information on how to do research for your home, you can visit the Miners Hall Museum during their open business hours. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We learn more about a real-life RoboCop that one town in Ohio is welcoming. Plus, an Australian museum vows to return 3 bronze statues looted from Cambodia. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Big Springs Park in Neosho, Missouri. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, at least 30 people dead and over 60 injured after a train derailed in Pakistan early Sunday. 10 cars of a Rawalpindi-bound train derailed and overturned near the Pakistani town of Nawabshah, trapping passengers inside. Investigators say this may have been happening because of poorly maintained tracks and a lack of safety. Authorities say these fatalities may very well increase as they continue their rescue efforts. Multiple countries, including the U.S., are removing their citizens from Niger following a military coup. The California Missionary Group is still stuck in Niger after the State Department arranged a flight. According to the senior pastor of Cornerstone Christian Center, the plane, scheduled to leave Friday morning, was denied fuel. It is unclear when they will be able to fly home at this time. Alex Hogan has more on the ongoing arrest.
Niger's ruling junta faces a Sunday deadline to reinstate ousted President Mohamed Bazoum or face military intervention. The ultimatum was handed down by the West African regional bloc after armed soldiers staged a coup against one of the region's only democratically elected leaders. Negotiations between the groups, though, have been unsuccessful.
Any aggression or attempted aggression will be met with an immediate and unannounced response by defense and security forces.
The U.S., France, Italy, and Spain are now racing to evacuate citizens from the country.
There's a roller coaster of emotion.
Meanwhile, there are new concerns about Russia's expanding influence around Niger. Other countries in the region have received military training from the Russian private military group Wagner. Last week, the mercenaries welcomed the coup, saying, quote, they got rid of the colonizers. Western officials, though, say that there's no indication Wagner was involved.
That continues to be the situation. Obviously, Wagner does have a presence in Africa. It's something that we're continuing to keep a close eye on.
Russia's Wagner Group has reportedly offered to send soldiers to restore order in Niger. And the U.S. is pausing certain foreign assistance programs for Niger and the military takeover in the West African country. Secretary of State Antony Blinken made the announcement Friday. Blinken said life-saving humanitarian and food assistance will continue, and they are continuing U.S. government activities in Niger when possible, including diplomatic and security operations to protect U.S. personnel. Blinken said U.S. assistance to Niger's government depends on democratic governance and respect for constitutional order. An American tourist died Friday off Italy's Amalfi Coast in a boating accident. Adrienne Vaughn was riding in a powered dinghy with her husband and 2 children when it collided with a 150-foot sailboat. The sailboat was carrying 80 American and German guests. When Vaughn's boat hit their sailboat, the 45-year-old woman was thrown overboard. She was then killed by the sailboat's propeller. Testing shows that the skipper of the boat Vaughn was riding in had more than the legal amount of alcohol in his system. The captain of the sailboat did not test positive for any other substances. And Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan was arrested at his home after being sentenced to 3 years in prison for illegally selling state gifts during his tenure. Khan's political party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, that it had filed an appeal to the Supreme Court on his behalf. Khan was denied all wrongdoing, and the guilty verdict means that Khan will not be able to take part in elections set for later this year and is also disqualified from holding political office. In a statement, Pakistan's information minister says Khan's arrest is not politically motivated and that Khan was given ample opportunities to present his defense. 3 bronze sculptures looted from Cambodia will be returned to the Southeast Asian kingdom by the National Gallery of Australia. The artifacts were purchased by the museum in 2011 for $1.5 million. They depict 3 different Bodhisattvas, enlightened figures often portrayed in Buddhist sculptures. The works of art were sold by the late art dealer Douglas Latchford, who has been accused by U.S. investigators of trafficking stolen antiques. He died in 2020 before answering the charges. Cambodian officials say the news of the item's return has produced a magical feeling. The artifacts will remain on display in Australia until they join the collection in Cambodia's National Museum. And a group of German tourists are being accused of toppling a pricey Italian statue in northern Italy villa. The manager of Villa Alceo, located in the town of Vigu, says a surveillance camera caught 2 tourists posing for pictures in a fountain with the statue while another pushed it over with a stick. The 150-year-old statue, called the Domina by artist Enrico Butti, fell to the ground. The statue is valued at about $218,000. The villa has lodged a complaint with local police. And the heat in South Korea has been so intense on Friday that more than 1,000 Scots from Britain left the World Scout Jamboree campsite and took refuge in a hotel. South Korea has been dealing with one of its hottest summers in years. There's been an increased concern about the extreme heat after more than 100 participants had to be treated for heat-related alignments. The pullout of the Jamboree's largest national contingent was announced hours after the South Korean president promised an unlimited supply of air-conditioned buses and refrigerator trucks to provide chilled water to the site. About 40,000 scouts from 158 countries are participating in the Jamboree. Most of them are teenagers. And zoo animals enjoying some frozen treats as a heat wave continues in Europe. Lions, bears, and lemurs all snacking on their favorite foods in a block of ice as temperatures reach over 100 degrees Fahrenheit in Greece. The curator of the zoo saying many animals need indoor areas with air conditioning because they can't deal with extreme heat. It's no surprise since July was the hottest month on record in more than 50 years. The zoo is also treating a number of animals injured in the wildfires spreading across the country. And a viral video is raising awareness about one of Asia's most endangered and intriguing animals. Now scientists hope that added attention will help save the sun bears. Ivan Watson reports.
This video put a zoo in China in a bind when Chinese social media exploded with claims this animal was a human in a costume. The zoo decided to grin and bear it, issuing a statement in the voice of the animal saying, "I'm a sun bear." a message echoed by another zoo in the UK.
Have you seen that video?
Yes, I've seen that video, and I am very, very convinced, 100% sure that it is a sun bear.
Sute Wang is a biologist and founder of the Bornean Sun Bear Conservation Center.
This is a male. We got Joe over here.
And I think we can confidently say that that's a bear, not a human in a costume.
Yes, that is a bear.
This forest enclosure in Malaysian Borneo shelters 44 rescued sun bears.
They are the smallest bear in the world. They look very similar to people when they stand up.
Sun bears are also an endangered species. Their tropical forest habitat across Southeast Asia is shrinking.
What does the future look like for the sun bear as a species in the wild right now?
If the forest is not big enough, if hunting and poaching still continue, the future is very bleak for the sun bear because they need large forests in order to survive.
Wang says there's an illegal market for sun bear claws, teeth, and organs used for traditional Asian medicine. Now the Chinese viral video is giving the world's smallest bear a moment in the sun. In recent days, attendance surged 30% at the zoo in Hangzhou. It doesn't look human at all when you see it in person, this man says. Something to bear in mind the next time you're sent a viral video. Ivan Watson, CNN, Hong Kong.
That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, now 5:45 on this Monday morning. And some of us in Northeast Oklahoma got a few thunderstorms, even a few showers still lingering from this complex that has been strong to severe, but it is staying to our south. Unfortunately, means we're not getting any real rain out of this, except, again, for a few of us in parts of Northeast Oklahoma. But the good news is this is not our only opportunity for rain as we head through the next couple of days. Now, our Monday, it's kind of crazy to say it's going to be a great day on a Monday, but it is. We're looking at mostly clear skies, temperatures low to mid 80s out there, not bad whatsoever. And then as we head into the overnight, we'll see a few increasing clouds, and then we'll see some additional shower and thunderstorm development as we head toward tomorrow morning. Now, Tuesday, we have isolated to widely scattered storm chances. The chances are relatively low. However, the ingredients are there that any of the storms that do manage to develop could be strong, possibly low-grade severe, with some gusty winds being the primary risk with these. But as you can see, right now they're expected to be very isolated in nature. Then as we head into our Wednesday, we're looking at a couple of rounds of thunderstorms. We could see some thunderstorms as we head into the early morning hours on Wednesday. And if these clear out as quickly as is expected, then we're expecting redevelopment of strong to severe thunderstorms as we head into Wednesday late afternoon and into the evening and overnight hours. So that's something that we're going to keep an eye on because there's been a potential severe threat highlighted for Wednesday for the last few days now. So the computer models have been pretty consistent, but there's still some uncertainty as to what the morning thunderstorms are going to do to the atmosphere. So for tomorrow, we do have, again, that low wind risk for a couple of strong, maybe low-grade severe thunderstorms across the area. And then Wednesday, we still have an elevated risk out there. So we will keep a very close eye on Wednesday for you. At this point, the biggest concern is with damaging wind gusts as we head into Wednesday. And that's kind of been the trend here lately with the thunderstorm chances we've had. As our precipitation chances for tomorrow, you can see they're relatively low. They're there, but they're low. But again, any of the storms that we see could be potentially strong. Again, low-grade severe with gusty winds is the primary concern. So we'll keep an eye on that for you as well. In Joplin, it is cool. It is below normal, and it is crazy to say that given what we have seen over the past couple of weeks. Sitting at 66 out there. We've got some mostly cloudy skies, and that's from the thunderstorm activity that's off to the southeast. It's kind of giving us all some cloud cover. Look at this. It looks like fall out there. 62 in Iola, 65 in Fort Scott and Pittsburgh, 66 Nevada, Lamar, Carthage, 67 Chautauqua, Miami, and 68 up in Chanute. So as we get our morning started, again, for some of us in Northeast Oklahoma, a couple of stray showers or thunderstorms still possible through about 7, 8 o'clock. Otherwise, we're going to start to clear out. We're going to go partly cloudy, mid-70s by a late morning instead of mid-90s by late morning, which is fantastic. And look at these highs, well below normal. Our average is right around the low 90s, and we're looking at low to mid-80s out there under mostly clear skies. So if you've been putting off lawn work or putting off things outdoors because we told you last week to stay indoors if you could, today's the day to get it done. It's going to be great out there. Wonderful evening, 70s, overnight lows back into the mid to upper 60s across the area. Our temperatures do start to return to seasonable levels, not triple digits, but seasonable levels. So these are right about where we should be as we go back in the low to mid 90s. We have our thunderstorm chances Tuesday and Wednesday. We're going to go partly cloudy on Thursday, and then we'll see some additional isolated to scattered thunderstorm chances as we head into the weekend. And as we look toward the next week, we're still several days out, but we're looking at some additional thunderstorm chances out there hanging on to the low 90s. You may remember one thing we've kind of mentioned is that the long range precipitation outlooks still have us above normal for precipitation. So we're going to start to work into that, and we're looking at maybe a fairly wet September ahead of us. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we get those extra rain chances. Let's check your forecast. We'll be right back after this. But first, we got another live look from Big Spring Park in the Osho.
One town in Ohio is welcoming a new type of security. A mixed-use community in Westlake, Ohio has enlisted an actual RoboCop, equipped with artificial intelligence to patrol its busy streets and maintain order. Kelly Kennedy has the story and reactions from the community.
Hey, Sam. Welcome to the new normal. Meet Crocker Park's newest security guard, weighing in at 420 pounds. Sam is equipped with artificial intelligence to keep visitors and employees safe.
He's our secret agent man. He's a new team member to our security team here at Crocker Park.
The crime-fighting robot works 24 hours a day, rain or shine, patrolling 9 different routes.
So it's just an added tool for our security team to have backup opportunity to check cameras, videos, footage, if something ever were to happen, which it doesn't happen very often ever here.
Sam's AI algorithms enable him to detect anomalies and issue alerts to the on-site security team in real time. He's on the lookout for thefts, fires, vandalism, car crashes, and more. Did you ever think you'd see something like this walking around the Crocker Park?
No, I was surprised. I thought it was something when we first walked up. I had no idea what it was until I started reading it. So it's at least labeled nicely, so you kind of tell what's going on there. But yeah, that's what the kids said. They thought it looked like a robot from Star Wars.
As long as it's used in the right way. Everybody's talking about AI now, but that's a good purpose. You don't use AI only to write papers for students.
But don't worry, Sam isn't taking anybody's job. Crocker Park still has 15 full-time security guards. And there's always a human being on the other side of this robot. Sam does have some pretty cool features though. 360-degree video, a license plate reader, and thermal imaging technology.
It was a bit off-putting, I think. I was just like, okay, what is this? And then of course I read it. I was like, oh, it's for our safety, which is interesting. Now a robot is keeping us safe. That's interesting to me.
You know, it's great as long as it's being used the right way.
Kelly Kennedy, CBS News, Westlake, Ohio.
Makes me wonder, how soon could this become a reality for a lot of towns across the U.S.? We'll be right back. Astronomers have used the James Webb Space Telescope for a fresh perspective of an iconic celestial favorite called the Ring Nebula. The new image captures never-before-seen details within the colorful nebula located in the Lyra constellation about 2,600 light-years from Earth. The structure of the Ring Nebula can be glimpsed through amateur telescopes and has been observed and studied for years. The planetary nebula, which despite its name has nothing to do with the planets, is home to the remnants of a dying star and its releases of the bulk of its mass. A rare walrus calf is now getting some TLC after he was found wandering alone on the north coast of Alaska last week. The month-old Pacific walrus calf arrived at the Alaska Sea Life Center on August 1st after he was spotted on Alaska's North Slope. The calves depend on maternal care for the first 2 years of their lives, and when this walrus was found, there was no adult walrus in sight. The walrus was then transported to a special animal care facility. The veterinarian's orders called for 24-hour care, which includes constant cuddling to help keep the calf calm and encourage healthy development. A rain delay at MLS soccer match in Utah turned into quite a spectacle last week. Real Salt Lake's match against Real Club Leon eventually was postponed because of a thunderstorm. But before the game was officially called, fans and the media got quite a surprise. Journalists in the press box were startled when a raccoon suddenly fell through a leak in the ceiling. The raccoon quickly escaped and found shelter under an overhang above the main concourse. Stadium staff moved it with a broom. The raccoon fell to the concourse where it was trapped, captured, and then released near the stadium.
As we get our day started, there's a few isolated showers and storms in northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas. Those will be out of here by about 7, 8 o'clock. We'll start to see clearing skies, temperatures into the mid-70s by late morning. And as we head into the afternoon, well below normal today as we go low to mid-80s under mostly clear skies. Could even make some of the upper 80s out there, but regardless, still below normal for this time of year. Not that we're complaining. It's what we've gone through the last couple of weeks. We'll hold on to clear skies, pleasant conditions, 70s as we head through the evening hours. Overnight lows again below normal, back into the mid to upper 60s. And as we look ahead, we got some morning thunderstorm chances for us on our Tuesday. Some of those could be strong. We could see a few isolated storms through the day as well with some gusty winds. Temperatures do return to seasonable levels back into the low to mid 90s. And then we're watching a severe threat Wednesday with some morning storms, a pause, and then evening storms as well. We'll keep an eye on that for you. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with another hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.